Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, a little bit of a rant when it comes to volume training, hypertrophy training, and strength training. I have a few thoughts I want to share with you. Before I get into that topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas I turn into videos just like this. All right, so this morning I was looking on a Facebook group, which one, it doesn't really matter, because you'll see this kind of stuff over and over again on the internet. And I'm trying not to get too excited and cuss too much. But you see, I saw a thread where a group of individuals were talking about how they structure their program. I structure my program with a little bit of strength training, a little bit of hypertrophy training, a little bit of volume training, and they're all talking about the variables, and et cetera, et cetera. And I made the mistake of making a comment about saying they're all the same thing. They're all the same thing. There is no volume training without progression. There is no strength training without progression. There is no hypertrophy training without progression. It's all the same focus. It's a misunderstanding of the elements of what it takes to make progress. They're not different variables that you use a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of this. You don't do a little bit of hypertrophy work, a little bit of volume work, and a little bit of strength work. It's all part of the process. You have progressive overload, which is strength work. You have a reasonable volume. Volume is not different from hypertrophy work. Volume is not different from strength work. It's all part of the same thing. You have progressive overload, which is strength training. You have volume, which is required to build muscle and build a base for future strength. And hypertrophy work is a little bit of volume with a focus on progression. They're not different units. They're all synergistic parts of the same process. It drives me a little bit crazy to see folks overanalyzing this stuff in a way when they don't really understand what they are talking about. And what I'm trying to do here is not slam people. I'm trying to educate you. They're not different pieces of the puzzle. You need to understand that strength training, hypertrophy training, volume training are not different things. You need a focus on progression, which is strength. You need a reasonable volume, and this contributes to hypertrophy. It's all the same piece of the puzzle. All the same pieces of the same puzzle. They're not three different puzzles that you kind of put a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Now, invariably, when I talk about this, somebody comes along and says, yes, but powerlifting training is like this, and bodybuilding, muscle building training is like this. The problem is they don't really understand the mechanisms that drive powerlifting. For the first 80 to 90% of your base, regardless of your goal, it's the same process. Once you get past 80 to 90%, then things change. If you want to pursue bodybuilding, you might have to start focusing more on weaknesses. But generally, bodybuilding or muscle building is the same process. You just have to evolve your training, get a little bit smarter so you don't get injured. Powerlifting training is different at the advanced level, above the 80 to 90%, because you have to try things, experiment a little bit more. There's an inherent difference between muscle building and powerlifting. Powerlifting has more variables. Learning to master your leverages and form, and strengthening your tendons and all kinds of things. Powerlifting is more technical in that sense. You can get a little bit stronger if you work on your form, if you work on your programming, if you work on your, if you try different variables, different forms of periodization. But with muscle building, you're pretty much limited by your natural physiology. So the point here is that for the first 80 to 90%, regardless of the goal, they're the same process. They're the same process. Watch my video with Stan Efforting where we talk about off-season and workload, about increasing workload. The off-season for powerlifting, the base for powerlifting, the base for strength building is muscle. Muscle is your engine. You need a solid amount of muscle mass to get stronger. You do. There's no way around it. You can't have constant strength training where you're going balls out, intense work, above 85% all year round. That's a big mistake that people make when it comes to strength training, is they don't have off season, they don't have workload stuff, they don't have hypertrophy stuff. But for 99% of you that don't give a shit about powerlifting, that don't give a shit about top level bodybuilding, that's who I'm really speaking to here. The idea that there's some strength training components, that there's some hypertrophy components, and that there's some volume components is really off base. Look, there's some good, it makes sense to get a wide variety of rep ranges. But you know what? Training with 5 to 6 reps on bench is not just strength training, where 8 to 10 reps is volume training or hypertrophy training. They're all strength training. They're just in a different rep range. What really matters more than the variety of rep ranges is your overall volume, your overall tonnage. And please don't forget that. We phrase these things like 5 to 6 reps is only good for strength training, like it's not good for muscle building. And that is really, really foolish. It doesn't understand the process. It's really, really ignorant. So I encourage you guys, when it comes to thinking about programming, toss aside that paradigm that there's these segments of strength work and volume work and hypertrophy work. It's all the same thing. You need to progress with a reasonable amount of volume, and that drives hypertrophy. They're 3 parts of the same machine, not 3 separate units. And yes, again, you can do 5 rep sets, you can do 8 rep sets, you can do 12 rep sets, but you can get strong as fuck in any of those rep ranges. They're all strength training if you gird up your big juicy testicles and progress. The base for strength building isn't going to rely on a rep range. It's going to rely on you right here and right here. So I guarantee, if I'd never heard of 5 rep sets in my life and I only did 10 to 12 rep sets, I'd be as strong as I am right now, because rep ranges don't matter as much. It's such an ignorant concept. Just stop overthinking this shit and get strong with a reasonable amount of volume. That's power building. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.